What's behind the India Out campaigning in Maldives? The India Out campaigning started sometimes last year as on-ground protests in the Maldives and later widely spread across social media platforms using the phrase with a related hashtag. The Indian High Commission in the Maldives had sought government action and greater security following what it calls recurring articles and social media posts attacking the dignity of the High Commission and diplomats posted in the country. Last week, a letter written by the High Commission of the country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs was leaked and widely shared in Maldives local media and across social media platforms. The letter cited the preamble of the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations 1961 and stated that these attacks are motivated, malicious, and increasingly personal, and indicated that they could potentially damage the time tested and mutually beneficial bilateral relations between India and the Maldives. The letter that generated significant conversation in political circles in the Maldives compelled the country's ruling party, the Maldivian Democratic Party MDP, to release an official statement on July 2 that expressed concern over the ill-founded and disparaging remarks against Indian diplomats. The MDP statement specifically named local news publication DRS and its co-founder and writer Ahmad Ajan, saying that the publication and Ajan had engaged in a continuous barrage of anti-India vitriol that appears to be well-funded, well-orchestrated and premeditated political campaigning with the express purpose of whipping up hatred against the Maldives' closest ally, India. Anti-India sentiments. The MDP may specifically be referring to the India Out campaigning that started sometimes last year as on-ground protest in the Maldives and later spread widely across social media platforms using the phrase with a related hashtag. We are just protesting military presence in the country. We are not calling for a violent clash against India or Indians in Maldives. Sifakin Ahmed, co-founder of DRS, who has been active in campaigning, told IndianExpress.com. This India Out campaigning is not about people-to-people relations. We want Indians to feel safe in our country. So if there are people who use violent threats using India Out hashtags, we condemn these posts. We are about peacefully expressing our concerns. It is an issue-based movement, Ahmed said. The anti-India sentiment didn't just sprout overnight last year, but it is nearly a decade old and can be traced back to when Abdullah Yamin Abdul Gayoom of the Progressive Party became president in 2013. India-Maldives relations deteriorated during the PPM's 5-year rule. India-Maldives relations deteriorated during the PPM's 5-year rule, and the anti-India sentiment was apparent back then. Researchers say a lot of anti-India rhetoric was used during that time because the Maldivian government was pro-China, said Dr. Goblin Santana, a research analyst at the Manohar Parrikar Institute for Defense Studies and Analysis, whose area of research includes the Maldives. But it would be an oversimplification of diplomatic relations between the two countries to say that the Yamin government and its predecessor, the Wahid government, were anti-India. Although the Yamin government tilt in favor of China was clear, it had also openly discussed as India First policy for the Maldives. Decade-long agitations. Sultana points to a handful of specific issues that have agitated sentiments against the Indian government in the Maldives. The first is the long-standing controversy over the two Dhruv advanced light helicopters that were given by India to the Maldives in 2010 and in 15, both of which were used for ocean search and rescue operations, maritime weather surveillance and airlifting patients between islands, and were based in Adu Atoll and Hanimadhu. These helicopters were for humanitarian purpose only, but some in the anti-India constituency, particularly Yamin's party (PPM), were trying to portray that by gifting these helicopters, India was creating military presence in the country because they were military choppers. Sultana told IndianExpress.com. According to the terms of bilateral agreement between the two countries, Indian officers had sent to the Maldives to train the Maldives National Defense Force under whose command these helicopters operate. When domestic fervor against the perceived military presence of Indian force in the country reached its peak in 2016, the Yamin government had asked India to take back these gifted helicopters and refused to extend the term of the agreement that would extend their stay and use in the country. Ahmad says that one of the main reasons behind the Indian out campaigning was rooted in this controversy surrounding the ALF choppers and India's reported refusal to take them back. But in 2018, when Ibrahim Mohammed Sol assumed office, he immediately resigned these agreements extending the stay and use of these choppers in the country. The Soleh government visibly warm relations with India have only served to fuel anti-India sentiments in the country, Sultana explained. Contrary to what you may read, sometimes it's not as much as India with the current administration and PPM being pro-China. It's far from it. We have had good relations with India as well, but the sort of relations that this government has transcended from what we believe to be normal diplomatic and development ties. Mohammad Sharif, Vice President of PPM, told IndianExpress.com. While we welcome India being a very close development partner, the issue arises when certain boundaries are overstepped, particularly when it comes to sovereignty, national defense issues, and the government in particular has opted at times to keep the relationship under wraps, which is where the criticism stems from. Thank you.